Today on 3D Gaming, we're back working on our slot car sets. Right after this. All right, we are actually working on the high-speed track right now. This is the Viper Scale racing track that we purchased, I want to say 3 to 4 years ago. It's been a while. Now, I can't find this track on their website anymore. I know they have videos on YouTube showing Viper Scale racing, their advice, tips, tricks, things like that on how to put these tracks together, but I can't actually find these tracks for sale anymore. I don't know if they broke off into another company. There was another company with a different name. I tried reaching out to them. They didn't respond for a little advice on how to do this overpass here. We'll figure it out, but you can see right here in the track we have a lift that we have to go. We have to raise that up so the cars can go under it. We'll figure out how high we need to go. I'll probably just cut some wood and make some ramps on both sides, but let's go through what we've done so far here on this Viper Scale racing track. I will also say I'm glad I bought this when I did. The fact that I can't find it on Viper Scale anymore, and I found it on the other site, looks like the same thing, 3 times the money. So if you're going to go for a high-speed track like this, be prepared to spend a good amount of money. These are not cheap, and they've gotten way more expensive in the past few years. So let's go through what we did. We set out the basic layout of the track on a 4x8. And this is classified, I believe, a 3x8 track. So that leaves me some edge room over here, some room over there so I can decorate a little bit, set some cars out and whatnot. I think it'll be a nice setup over there. We'll have the big track behind us here, which we're going to make into much like you would think of a model railroad track, you know, with the trees and the buildings, and it's going to be multi-layer. We have the whole wall going up, so we literally can make it go up in the air however we want to, but this is going to be the speed track. So after we got the layout done on this track, we had to put it together. And in order to do that, they have you put the track together, and they have what they call dog bones to hold them together. And I'll show you what that is here real quick. Called a dog bone because it has 2 round pieces and a flat, and you can see right there is where one of those is in the track. Maybe I can find a better spot where the light isn't quite as, you can see it right there. See the dog bone in there? You put the track together and push that in, and then you put a screw on either side. So what we're going to do today, now that we have it all dog bone together, we're going to take and screw this track down. And that's going to show you where the screw marks are. Then we're actually going to take the screws out, because you see right here, here is where the electrical will have to feed up. This is a higher skill level track to put together, let's put it that way, because when you buy this track, it's not like the standard tracks where it has the metal laid in it and you snap them together. As you can see, this track, there's no metal. Absolutely none. Here's the metal. We're going to have to lay that in ourselves, cut it to length, splice the powers across, and then they give you a tool right here to lay in different color rubber pieces to tell you what lane you're in. So there's a lot more, shall we say, skill level required in putting something like this together. I would say there's a lot more work and a lot more skill required to put something like this together. So we're going to take and screw some of this down here real quick. We just are going to use some multi-purpose screw Phillips flathead 6x1s. You could use shorter screws, but I got 3/4 inch plywood in the track. I think the 1-inchers will be fine. We're going to screw that down so we know where all our screw holes are. We've measured it out so that we're evenly spaced front and back. We have the track right where we want it. going forward. So we're going to put all the screws in very carefully, and then we're going to take them out. And you're going to be like, well, after you screwed it down, why in the world did you take all those screws back out again? Well, because we need to drill where all of these power lines are going to go through so that we can hook them all together. They give you pieces that you will solder and bend and hook the wires so you can hook it all together. Again, like I said, this is not an easy snap together setup. This is going to require some work. So let's get to work on that. Now you want to be careful when you're screwing this in. I did see, like on his video, he made a washer with a hole in the middle, so in case he falls off the edge, he doesn't bang it up. I'm not as worried about that. I'm going to be careful, obviously, but if I ding it a little bit, it'll be okay. You don't have to over tighten them or anything like that. You can actually turn your setting way down on this, I think, so that you don't mar it up, over tighten it, anything like that. Probably need enough to get them in though. But those are the perfect screws because they'll run them flat. You want those flat screws so they don't stick up. Once we get these all run in, then we're going to back them out again, take the track off, and drill our holes. So we'll show you that here in a minute. Now what I've been reading from them, you could probably, with a shorter track like this, run a single piece. So I don't know if I can run that metal all the way around so that I don't have to be jumpering it all the time. On a large track, say you're running 16 by 4 or 16 by 8. If you had a huge track, you would want to be jumpering all the time so that you had power feed all the way through. On this particular track, I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I am going to screw this down everywhere so that I can make the holes necessary so that if I do need to do that, since I've never put one of these together before, that I have that ability to do that if needed. All right, now it's time to mark our holes. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mark the track a little bit. Now I've seen some videos where they use a lead pencil with the extendable lead so they can just mark down there. I don't think, I've got some markers that I think I can actually mark down there through these holes. Show you what I'm doing here real quick. There's a hole right there. We're just going to drop down in there and mark those holes, and then we'll come in with our drill. We'll show you that in a minute and drill those holes. But I think what we're going to do also, so that we remember exactly where the track was, the screws will tell us, but I'm just going around with a pencil. I think what I'm going to do, we'll see if it'll work, I'm going to try sliding it over and then bringing a vacuum out here after to be able to clean this up after I'm done. Now we got ourselves a spade bit, and we're going to make some holes. Now you line up your screw holes again and put your screws back in. Again, being careful not to exert too much force. You don't want to break a track that's worth a lot of money. Let's put it that way. All right, now that we got the holes drilled through the table here, we're going to get the rest of the screws put in here. I'll show you what we come up with for a overpass, shall we say, over here when I get that figured out on the next video here. And then we'll start laying some metal down, but this is enough for today. We're just going to get these screws put in. Don't need to have you watching for all of that. But there are the first steps with the Viper Scale Racing Track. This is Dan with 3D Gaming. Game on.